Okay, we are live.
Okay, good afternoon to all to the South Europe countries meeting. This is a great pleasure to count on your assistance with such distinguished speakers in the second event of the MEDA meetings within the framework of the SCAMES Recovery Plan and New Economic Development Model for the Mediterranean region. From SCAME, we would like to welcome you all today. The MEDA meetings are a new series of online events organized by SCAME with the collaboration of the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce as an open platform to discuss trending topics such, for example, economy, trade, investment, and main industries, promoting also the economies of the Mediterranean countries and creating also alliances with other regions. With this objective, the Mediterranean meetings include, for example, events on business and investment opportunities in different regions of the Mediterranean, such as, for example, North Africa, South Europe, as today, for example, and Middle East. Events on investment and trade opportunities between the Mediterranean region and other key countries or regions, such as Brazil, Gulf region, USA, Sub-Saharan Africa, and also sectorial and multi-sectorial B2Bs meetings, as we have today in the second section of the session of today's section. In this way, today's South Europe countries meeting South Europe countries meeting has the aim to promote the economies and markets from several South European countries, presenting their advantages, also the characteristics, good practices and experiences, with the objective of attracting investment and increasing the economic activity. Before start, we are going to make a kind of a brief check of the Zoom functionalities that may be useful for the audience in order to follow the session optimally. At the bottom right section of your screen, you will see the option for simultaneous translation in English. It's available in English. And also at the bottom central part of your screen, you will also find the chat box. Please use it in case you want to ask a question to the speakers during the Q&A section. In this way, I give the floor to the SCAMES president, distinguished Ahmed El Wakil. Please, the floor is yours. Please, Ahmed, can you unmute yourself? I think that...
Can you hear me now?
Mr. El Wakil? Mr. Ahmed El Wakil, can you unmute yourself? I think that
okay.
Yes,
okay.
now it works. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We can hear right now. Yeah.
Excellencies, partners, and friends, welcome to the second event of the MEDA meeting series. SCAMES practical way of walking the talk out of the COVID-19 crisis, putting our SCAMES recovery and new development plan into action. And this series has been designed with the consideration of what every part of the Mediterranean offers, the differences that create its wealth and complementarity. So, all our Mediterranean countries were affected by COVID-19, but South Europe countries were the most hit by its economic tsunami. COVID-19 has had its toll on almost of economic activities, where it has disrupted supply chain and finance. The Mediterranean has lost 11% of its GDP that came from over 340 million visitors, almost a third of all global tourism, most visiting South Europe. Our sea-related activities lost 20% of its annual $450 billion, which represent about 20% of the world's annual gross marine product in an area which make up only 1% of the world's seas. World trade has slowed down by almost 30%, affecting intra-Mediterranean maritime trade flows, which account for around 25% of global traffic volume. Reduced domestic demand due to the containment measures and a decline in demand from the main trading partner has affected both industry and services. These serious aims at assisting companies, hence economies, to recover, and it will end with our flagship event, the Mediterranean Week of Economic Leaders in next November, to which I invite you all. Together, we'll explore opportunities, trade, investment, and challenges of the Mediterranean market ecosystem. Business offered by 20 Mediterranean countries, their market, which is a golden opportunity for companies going through a hard time to get new business in the Mediterranean region, and will help cushion the blow of low trade and FDI flows. Our aim is to create solid partnerships, unlock more trade and investment opportunities, and pave the way for better international collaboration through highlighting the economic strengths of the Mediterranean region and help explore its business landscape that will be presented by our top-level panelists from leading politician companies and decision makers in the iconic regional webinar. Moreover, our Mediterranean business exchange area will be a unique space between companies from Europe, the Mediterranean, and MENA region, augmented by the B2B meeting that will be held after the webinar. All this and more is the outcome of our active secretariat led by our able coordinator Anwar Zibawi, whom I thank on behalf of all of you. Now let's start our MEDA meetings and work together to promote our Mediterranean. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. El Wakil, for such an interesting and valuable inputs. And now I would like to move to Caterina Passariello from the newspaper Impress del Sud, who will guide us in today's session as a moderator. Thank you very much, Caterina, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for the presentation. Good afternoon to all the speakers and also to all the participants to the event. I would like, first of all, to thank Saskame for this opportunity and for the invitation. And I am Caterina Passariello, author of Imprese del Sud. It is an online website and think tank where we write a lot of contents and articles and go in depth specifically about Italy. I also work in the internationalization sector, both in Italy and in Malta. And this afternoon, together with the speakers, we will see. Sorry, but they are telling me that you don't see me, but the cam is activated. Now, okay, perfect. Sorry, okay, sorry, but it was activated. So as I was telling to you, to this afternoon, we will see together with speakers that are from different countries of the South Europe, countries of the Mediterranean area, what are the plan and the objectives that each country has for the recovering phase after the post-pandemic situation that all of us are living. And as Anna has said at the beginning, we have a chat section where you can leave some questions for the speaker so that we can go through them at the end of the panel. So let's start with the first session, and I invite Mrs. Vesna Tronkop-Tanta from Sigma Business Consulting Ltd. She's the CEO and she's from Croatia. So welcome, Vesna. You can activate your microphone. Welcome. Yes. She will explain us what is the situation in Croatia. Thank you.
Thank you, Caterina. First of all, I would like to thank you to Ascame to inviting me to be the part of your conference. First of all, I would say that I have very good experience with Ascame in my previous lives when I was the Vice President of Croatian Chamber of Economy. And I would like to say that my cooperation with Ascame family in the past was always fruitful and nice experience. Mediterranean region is geostrategically is very important for the rest part of the world, and our similarity and this in the same time diversity are the platform to share information for sustainable and resistant life in our countries. As you know, everybody of you, that Croatia is a young member of EU from 2013, and from that time we have launched a reform process with the aim to creating a framework for the growth and development that is sustainable and socially responsible. I will present you several figures, which is very important for our countries. Just a moment to open my presentation. Do you see this presentation? Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I will start. I think that the best is to show what is the situation in this pandemic time with GDP in Croatia. Namely, when we are talking about 2020, as many countries everywhere in the world, we have decrease, and this was very strong. It was a decrease of the GDP in amount of 8.4%. Impact was, of course, because of decline in services provided, especially in the tourism sector services, as the countries in the Mediterranean region as Greece, Cyprus, Portugal, Spain, and Malta. Namely, as many countries, young countries, members of EU, we have one situation that more than 20% of GDP is represents the tourism. As you know, the situation was very bad. So everything which is in every services and every part of Croatian economy which is in connection with the tourism has a big decrease. Later on, I will show you precisely the situation. This year, namely, what I was stressed out also that this year for Croatia was very hard. First of all, very soon after the close and the businesses in March, 10 days after, Zagreb was hit by earthquake, very strong earthquake, and the damage which was caused with this earthquake was about 5.6 billion euros. But it was not the finishing the whole situation regarding the earthquake. The second earthquake was in December. It was also very, very strong earthquake. It was 60 kilometers near the Zagreb. It was very strong, and damages which was caused by this earthquake, it was about 5.5 billion euros. Namely, in 2000, I will come back to 2021. Situation is a little bit better. Growth is a 5.30, impact of realization of long investment and increase in the activities of the construction sector. Namely, our government decided to put measures to grow up the economy, to support and to develop the construction sector because of recovery after the earthquake. By the prognosis of the European Commission, we are expecting that in 2022 we will have the growth of 4.60. I will come back to 2020. We have a decrease of 3.5% of processing industry, 21% decrease of the group of wholesale and retail trade, transport and restaurant and cafes, which was caused by COVID-19. But as I told before, about 4.1% growth of the construction sector. Also, we have the growth in IT and communications sector. Our companies decided to put much more budgets in growing up businesses and to present them into the rest part of the world and to put modern part way of communication. Regarding our commodity exchange, it was of course negative impact of pandemic reflects on export with 2.3% decline, as well as the import with decline of 8.6%. This is a normal situation because our best partners, trade partners is in Italy, Austria, and Germany. So it was shown also in commodity exchange. Employment in the March 2020 was lower 23% than in March 2019. Our government put some measures for the private sector by April the 1st. Last year, we got about 33 measures depending on the sector activity. The main task was job preservation, VAT deferral for 3 months, deferred payment of taxes on profit, income and contribution also for 3 months. And also the company got average salary coverage in the amount of 250 euro per employee for 3 months. Regarding the mechanism for recovery and resilience in Croatia, 2020 till 2027, I could say that Croatia, regarding the all problems which was caused by COVID-19 and also with the earthquake, we got about 5.94 billion euro irrevocably and 3.61 billion loans. We are expecting that 13% could be used as pre-financing this year, and it is very necessary because we should recover the lives on the part which was damaged by the earthquakes, and in connection with this also the companies which were on these places was in problem, but government put so many measures to help them to recover them as well. Growth investment is expected given the strong dynamics of construction sector and in the reconstruction of the part of Croatia, which I told you destroyed in the earthquake. Our national plan priority is greater resilience of the economy. As we are planning to reconstruct our public sector, also administration, but when we are talking about the economy, the main things are the strengthening competitiveness and green transition, then energy transition for the sustainable economy, improvement of the water management and the waste management, as well development of competitive energy, sustainable and efficient traffic system. Namely, what is very important for us is the improving the use of natural resources and strengthening the food supply chaining, which is important also in communication with our partners in, I could say, in Mediterranean region, and also which is very important for us, development of sustainable, innovative and resistant tourism. Namely, what I would like to say, Croatian economy and Croatian companies are aware that they have changed the philosophy of working in this pandemic time. They try to put new way of working, new way of communication, new way of finding the solution to grow up the businesses. So I think that we have the full support, and it is on something which is very important for everybody was to communicate with the countries outside, to be on the market, and to be aware that only cooperation could solve the problems. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will be free to answer the questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Vesna, for this overview about Croatia and what is the plan for the next years after this pandemic situation. And now we will change country and we will go through France. And so I welcome Mr. Philippe Hiverneau. He is the International Cooperation Director of Business France. Good afternoon, Philippe. If you can try the microphone.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon, Katerina.
Okay, perfect.
You hear me?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Well, so good afternoon to everybody, and thanks to Askame for inviting me to speak to this distinguished assembly. First of all, a quick word about Business France. So we are the French government agency in charge of promoting the internationalization of the economy. Basically, we assist the French companies, mostly French SMEs, in their export development, and we also assist foreign investors in developing their job-creating investment projects in our country. We are not totally stranger to the Chamber of Commerce world, which is represented here, since we work very closely with the Chambers of Commerce in France and their representative abroad. And we have created 2 years ago what we call the Team France Export and also the Team France Invest, which is basically a partnership between Business France and the French Chamber of Commerce to assist companies in their international development. Now moving to today's topic, which is the impact of the COVID on the companies. I will, of course, focus on what is our core mission and our core expertise, which is the internationalization of the company. First of all, it goes without saying that most of our clients, that is the French companies, but also the foreign investor, have been very impacted by the crisis, especially in terms of their export development. As you may remind, in 2020, we had almost no international trade fair. It was almost impossible to travel, and this still remain valid until now. So a very strong impact, immediate impact. However, what our feeling was a very strong resilience of the companies, especially in terms of their willingness to continue to invest in on the international market and to export and to continue exporting. In terms of the services, we have, of course, moved as most investment and export promotion agencies in Europe and in the world. We have moved all our services online, doing information on market information webinars with inviting companies online, and also even doing virtual B2B events or virtual fairs for our clients. This has worked very well. We believe that in the future, this type of virtual services will remain very important. In the future, we will not go back to what we had before the crisis. However, we clearly see a very strong appetite for the companies, and also a very important need to come back to some kind of physical contact with the market, with the customers. And so we will probably have something mixed between virtual services and physical events like trade fairs or trade missions. Second comment I would like to make is the focus of the companies in terms of their priorities, international priorities. We have seen a very clear shift towards Europe. When we ask companies where are their main priorities now following the COVID crisis, Europe is much stronger than it was before the crisis, for obvious reasons. Not only because it's more difficult to travel in far countries in Asia or in America, but also because there is a feeling that it is safer to work on. Also that there are opportunities, new opportunities to get new markets on these in the neighborhood countries, especially in Europe or in the Mediterranean, by the way. So this is very strong. We see, however, that the Far East, the Southeast Asia, especially China and India, and also North America, remain high in the priorities of the companies. They feel that there are still a lot of opportunities there. The two markets which apparently are declining, at least in terms of the prospect of the companies, are South America and Africa. And this may be worrying, since especially Africa was on the top of the priorities until the crisis. The second comment is more on the inbound investment, so attracting investment to France or to our countries. Let's say hot topic today for most investment promotion agencies is reshoring. The idea is that due to the COVID crisis and to the crisis that we had and the impact that we had on the supply chain, for instance, with a disruption of the logistic chain and so on, there will be a growing trend by the companies to try to source their components or their input locally or more locally, and also a trend by the government to impose more restrictions on imports from foreign or from far markets to secure the supply for their countries, especially for strategic goods. So this is a hot topic. We have seen some tendency for some companies to actually order more locally, but it is clearly too early to say if this will become a strong trend after the crisis, or if it is just for the 2020 and 2021 until we can recover from the crisis. One interesting question that we are debating actually with our Mediterranean partners is whether this reshoring trend for companies to localize in Europe or close to Europe their production for goods or for components which will go then to the European market, will it also impact positively the countries of the South Mediterranean, so from Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and so on, and Jordan, and so on. This is actually still an interesting question. We believe it will be the case, but again, this is too early to call. Last thing I wanted to mention, and I will finish with that, is that we have at Business France a very strong cooperation with the investment promotion agencies from the Mediterranean through ANIMA, the ANIMA Investment Network. And so this issue of the services that we have to develop post-COVID is clearly a very important topic for us that we are debating together to try to find together solutions which would benefit each other.
Thank you, Philippe, for your presentation of the opportunities and the aims of Business France. And now we will change, and I will give the floor to Mr. Adrian Stade. He is the non-executive chairman of Malta Government Investments. Hello, Mr. Adrian.
Hello, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the invitation. And I would like to say hello to all the Ascame team, whom I have known for the last, I would say, 15 years. But today I'm here in a different perspective in my non-executive role as chairman of Malta Government Investments, which is the agency responsible for government investments in Malta. So essentially, it is the de facto sovereign fund of the Maltese state. What I would like to add over and above what my colleagues have just mentioned is that obviously the pandemic is having a global impact on all the economies around the world, but obviously the Mediterranean in general and Southern Europe, the MEDA region, is having more of an impact because tourism is a very strong mainstay of our economies. So generally speaking, we are seeing a general decline in economic development and growth in a region that always required a substantial amount of investment. In fact, data that was published even pre-pandemic shows that the Mediterranean always lacked a certain amount of international sovereign funding in the region. And there are a number of reasons why that has happened, mainly because you have a lack of projects that generate substantial returns for investors to be interested to put their funding into it. So, and also the over-reliance on tourism as a mainstay of the economy. With regards to Malta, I have the pleasure to say that the Maltese economy, despite the pandemic, is still doing fairly well, and our economic growth rate, our unemployment rate rather, is still fairly low and slightly higher than pre-pandemic situation. The reasons, I would say, are two, mainly because the reliance on tourism over the years has dropped substantially. Secondly, because the economy is very much driven nowadays by the financial services industry, and the financial services industry, be it banking, insurance, setting up of trusts and other structures, has remained buoyant in the global economy. And thirdly, because pre-COVID, the Maltese government had recorded a number of surpluses over the years. So funding was pretty much available for spending and in order to come up with crisis funds in order to sustain the tourism sector as well as other sectors. So there was a substantial, I would say, amount of funds in the war chest in order to be able to sustain businesses through, for example, wage supplements, through a scheme like a voucher scheme that was designed in order to get people to spend more money in restaurants, And now government will be launching a new scheme in the coming weeks, once again designed to provide people with spending power in order to spend it on retail as well as catering. That will come to approximately about 100 euros per head for citizens that are over 16 years old living in Malta. So it is not just for Maltese citizens, also for non-Maltese people living in Malta. In terms of economic growth forecasts for next year, if I can share my screen, what I can show you is, are you seeing my screen by any chance?
Not yet.
Are you seeing it now?
No.
I can, in order not to disturb the system. Can you hear me? Is it okay? What I can say is that the growth, the average euro area growth rate in 2022 is expected to be 3.8% next year, whilst Malta's growth rate is expected to be 5.4%. That makes it in the top 3 economies in the EU. This year, our forecasted growth rate is going to be approximately 4.5%. I mean, it looks good, but in reality, up until 2019, we were seeing growth rates of 7% to 8%. So we have seen our GDP growth rate basically going down by 50% in 12 months. So I mean, it's still good, but obviously we have seen a relative decline, sharp decline in our GDP growth rate. So I think the philosophy now is very much not to sit on our laurels. And what we have been working on as an agency, Malta Government Investments, together with our colleagues from France, BPI France, which is the investment arm of the French government in France, is to come up with an idea, and this is still an idea, but I think I should share it with you here in Ascama because it could be very interesting, to set up jointly, for the time being, a network of sovereign funds from the MENA region. So what we are suggesting over here, and we have already signed an MOU with the French government, and we had also the opportunity to discuss this with President Macron in Marseille way back in 2019, so even before the pandemic kicked off, with the idea of having a network of sovereign funds from the Mediterranean rim, from starting obviously from around Europe, North Africa, and also in the Middle East, in such a way that these sovereign funds then cooperate and identify opportunities in the region for investment. So I think post-pandemic, the region will be crying out loud for investments in renewable energy, for example. So the European Union, as most of you would be aware, has just launched a Green Deal, whereby the European Commission is expecting European economies to be focused more on renewables. And I think the region, the Mediterranean region, has a significant opportunity over here for a number of reasons. One of them is because, I mean, we are blessed with sun, sea, and also North Africa is blessed with a lot of space, and also a young population. So the idea over here that I would like to propose to everyone is to see how countries, non-governmental organizations such as chambers of commerce and other institutions such as banking institutions and sovereign funds can come together in order to discuss the setting up of a new Euro-Med investment platform, whereby a number of proposals are put forward on the table of this Euro-Med investment platform in areas related to renewables, digital economy, human resource training capacity, and other areas of innovation, that in such a way that individual countries and organizations can team up together and put more investment in the region. Because both as Malta, and we're a small island, so we don't expect to be playing a very large role in the area, but what we can do is imagination and creativity has no borders and requires not much investment. But what we can offer is the possibility of creating a new Euro-Med structure, which can essentially come together in order to discuss new opportunities in the region and also identify the investment required for those new opportunities to take place. And I think this is the scope that Ascame, as I know it, also thanks to Mr. Zibawi, etc., whom I have been discussing for a number of years. And I think this idea has come also thanks to his over the years support towards these kind of programs of discussion between Mediterranean countries, is to come up with an ongoing scheme now of investment, and we go forward discussing more investment in the region, because and I think also other countries, and also with the support of BPI France and the French government, we believe that the future is about cooperation and also investment in the region. So this is more or less, I think, what my contribution can be today. We have put together pretty much a presentation that has been also co-developed with the Boston Consulting Group, which essentially provides more of a technical background to how this joint funding opportunity in the region can take place. But maybe that is something we can discuss at a later stage. At this point in time, what we have is an MOU between BPI, France, and also Malta government investments in order to take this forward. I'm happy to take any questions as we go along.
Thank you very much for your intervention, Adrian. We are facing some technical problems, but we have here some questions for you. For example, the first one is that if we are facing new challenges such as Industry 4.0 or digitalization, do you think that investment promotion agencies should evolve to remain competitive and create job opportunities? This is the first question that we have for you all.
So essentially, I think digitization is the future. And with digitization, the opportunity is that it is a scalable industry. So whether it is in Malta, in Tunisia, in France, Spain, or in Silicon Valley, it doesn't make much of a difference. However, there are two aspects that need to be taken into consideration. One of them is the human resource element, the need to have human resources that are well-trained and understand the technology and understand the opportunities that there are. And at the same time, that there is infrastructure, a physical infrastructure in the region that can support digital economy. So the need to have very strong bandwidth in each and every country in the region, and also the funding requirements in order to make digitization more feasible. If there are these underlying factors and there are very good digitally based innovative businesses, then I think investment will go to those opportunities, because investment at the end of the day, especially post-pandemic, is going to be looking for opportunities in order to reach out to new ideas and new investment opportunities. So the investment part, in my opinion, is secondary. As long as there is a very strong infrastructural and legal framework in order to make digitalization happen. I mean, as you would understand, digital economy is very much based also on very strong intellectual property rights. So, I mean, you cannot have businesses setting up a company in a place where there isn't protection on intellectual property. I mean, this is just one aspect related to it. So my answer is yes, I think the Mediterranean region should focus in this area. We have young populations, especially in North Africa, with loads of energy and loads of ideas. I think what we need to do is ensure that these businesses have the right funding and the right infrastructure for them to operate. And why not? I think the Mediterranean is a small region in comparison. So if we have idea flow, human resource flows between individual countries, north to south, south to north, west to east, then why not? Let's see how we can cooperate.
Okay, thank you very much. Good points. And also we have another question. Investors for sure are looking for investment options that have a positive impact, for example, on society, or such as investment on environment or governance also. And how are your countries coping with this change in investors' investments or interests? What do you think about that? Which are your countries acting in that interest of these investors, for example?
Okay, I need to speak in terms of general knowledge over here. I mean, in terms of Malta, as I said before, Malta can be a facilitator and can never essentially be a very big player in this area because we are limited in terms of resources and funding. I mean, even as a country, what we are doing is we are ensuring and we are seeking to attract more venture capital to the country, and we have in recent years adapted our tax legislation in order to make it more feasible even for individuals who want to invest in digital companies, amongst others, to be able to gain tax credits. So essentially what happens is individuals invest money in a company, and then they can claim that investment in their tax return. So in other words, they save on tax. And we do that in such a way to be able to promote more angel investors. I know that BPI France in particular, which is the investment arm of the French economy, works very hard, and Philippe can maybe explain also, very hard in order to promote investments within France. But I think the future is, as I said before, is about cooperation. So why not have French BPI putting more investments in other parts of the Mediterranean, and why not other countries like Spain, like Italy, like Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, also investing outside of their territory in order to grow the region. So I think it's not easy, but with discussions such as we're having today, there will be more scope.
Okay, thank you very much. And what about Croatia or France? Which is the situation, or you can add something related to your country?
This is not a question to me, right?
No. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for Vesna, for example, which is the situation, or if you can add something related to Croatia, or yes, it will be interesting also.
Yes, we are very open for the investment, and there are so many new investors who is coming to Croatia and looking for the new opportunities regarding the investment. Namely, we have a law about the investment, and there are so many new possibilities for this investor who would like to invest in Croatia. We have very good organized so the Croatian Chamber of Economy. Mrs. Obradović could talk about this regarding the support of the investor, but our government organized also, so the Ministry of Economy, the whole support and taking care through this process of investment. There are so many possibilities and disadvantages which these foreign investors who is coming to Croatia could give from through these possibilities. Namely, what I would like to say that the investors in Croatia has the same position as domestic investors, so there are no differences. So I think that every who is coming to Croatia will give the whole support. Also, what we would like I would like to stress that every investment which is foreseen for the processing industry, for the making a new value is welcome. So regarding this, I think that we could make full support.
Thank you very much for these valuable inputs, Vesna. Thank you. And thank you also to all of you for these inputs in public and private investment communities and in this new context that we are living. Now, after moving to the second part of this session, we have back our moderator. We solved the technical problems. Caterina Pasadiello, thank you very much. Welcome back. Now you can continue. The floor is yours. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So thank you to all the speakers and so for the overview about the post-pandemic situation. And now we will change session and we will go through the second session. We will speak about what are the dynamics of South Europe countries' economies in the investments and trade sector, seeing what are the opportunities in the South Europe countries. And specifically, we will see point of view from Italy, Croatia, Spain, and France. And we will go through what are the opportunity of investment and trade that in the Mediterranean area can born for companies, business, professionals, and also what are the opportunities that that area can create also with the other macro area of the world. And so if we are ready, yes, I will welcome on the floor Mr. Marin Oriors, who is the international head area of the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce. Good afternoon, Mr. Marin. If you can activate your cam and microphone.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. You have to activate my video, Caterina.
Okay, okay. So, some seconds and the video from the organization will start. In the meantime, I will remind all the participants that you can leave questions in the chat section so that we can go through them at the end of the session.
Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. So this is Marino Riols. I'm the head of the Internationalization Department in Barcelona Chamber of Commerce. So first of all, distinguished authorities and participants, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, it's an honor for me to be with you today and at the second event of the Mediterranean meetings, MEDAMEETINGs, the South Europe countries meeting, an event that is much more than just an opportunity to relaunch the region's economy. The Barcelona Chamber of Commerce is pleased to support the organization of this event, which is part of ASCAME's recovery plan and a new economic model for the Mediterranean, an ambitious plan to boost Mediterranean economies, especially after the devastating consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce has been a symbol of trade in the region for hundreds of years. And we have always worked to strengthen the economy, the financial and social ties between the two shores of the Mediterranean. We are pleased today to introduce you Barcelona, capital of one of the most dynamic regions, Catalonia. The Financial Times already sees Barcelona and Catalonia as one of the best Southern European region of the future, and its latest report on the most attractive European locations for the future investment. So I would like to share a video with you and give you some figures about our capital and our region. And always we say that maybe an image is much better than everything that I can explain today. Barcelona is among one of the most visited cities in Europe. This is a fact. Catalan culture, architecture, and history have developed its own unique and universal identity over the centuries. Catalonia's economic activity has always depended on its ability to connect to the rest of the world. Its location in the Mediterranean and its transport infrastructure, as well as its trading, entrepreneurial, and open economy have made it a top-ranked strategic position in the south of Europe, with Barcelona as an unbeatable meeting point for international business. A strongly industrialized, Catalonia is one of the southern Europe's main economic powerhouses, as well as the leading logistic hub in the region. It has a global economy with a pro-business and talented society in the Mediterranean environment. Food, chemicals, motor vehicles, energy, and pharma are the main industrial-based and powerful ICT sector are key elements making Catalonia a driving force in the Industry 4.0. Many companies are firmly committed to Barcelona, the mobile world capital to the business and develop technology here. Let me share some of the key data for you better understanding what is Catalonia and what we can offer in Barcelona. Catalonia is 60% of the Spanish population, 7.7 million inhabitants, 20% of the Spanish GDP, 23% of the Spanish industry, 25% of the foreign trade, 70,000 million euros, 35% of the regular exporting companies in Spain, 45% of the multinationals in Spain are located here. So this scenario is giving you a fantastic connected ecosystem to a wide range of business sectors. So the sectors with a lot of opportunities in our community are digital systems. We have an efficient technology and hardware solutions to clients manufacturing or service provision with a specific needs. Second, food industries. 20% of the Catalan GDP, large business groups and famous brands with local and foreign capital. Number 3, chemical, energy and resources industries. Catalonia accounts for over 40% of the Spain's chemical turnover and has key activities for the efficient operation of the industry. Number 4, health and life science industries. Pharma is a traditional driver of the local economy in all fields: pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, fine chemistry, medical technologies, cosmetics, and nutraceuticals. Recognized hospital research model with health research institutes near all major university hospitals. Number 5, design industries. The sector features fashion, textile manufacturing, skins, leather goods, jewelry and costume jewelry, home furnishing and accessories. Number 6, cultural and experience-based industries. A first-class tourist sector with a privileged location and climate, outstanding cultural gastronomic diversity. 12% of the Catalan GDP, 19 million of foreign visitors in 1999, that unluckily has been broken through, caused the pandemic. The Barcelona brand is associated with design, fashion, gastronomy, architecture, sports, congress, trade fairs, and international festivals, business, and quality of life. And finally, number 7, sustainably mobility industries. Manufacture of land transport for people and goods with emphasis of sustainability and connectivity, including automobile, railways, motorcycles, and related components. Proof of progress made in the area is that Barcelona leads the global smart city ranking is implementing the first sustainability mobility hub in Europe. What else we can offer, and I don't want to extend it so much, we can offer you a competitivity economy, international and global. We have a Barcelona airport with over 50 million passengers, Barcelona port, let's say that is the top 3 of the ports available in operating in the Mediterranean. Innovation, culture, talent, education, 12 universities, 35 international schools, creativity and entrepreneurships. Barcelona Spirit transforms talent into business. 3,500 startups, e-commerce, mobile, enterprise marketing, travel, biotechnology, etc. In addition, so we have a business mindset. So the government business focused policies support private sector's initiatives, benefiting all the international investment in Catalonia. Catalonia welcome to join the 10,000 international companies already settled in Catalonia. So this is the picture about our region. So how the Chamber of Commerce of Barcelona at this moment is trying to support and attract investors, not only for Barcelona and Spain and Europe, also for the Mediterranean. So basically, this is the second part of my speech. So to support and help to any company willing to do business in our region, and when we are saying our region means Barcelona, Catalonia, for the rest of the European Union, and also all the Mediterranean countries. We are pleased to introduce our new concept, our new international business hub, and our specific program named as Lending 360. So we have a video that was broadcasted recently that explained the concept. And after this, so of course, that if any of you have any question about how to collaborate together, I will be very pleased to answer any question. So please, can you record the video number 2, please, with audio this time?
Welcome to Barcelona, welcome to the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce. We are here in Barcelona, in the middle of the city, in the heart of the city, and today this institution, founded in 1886, is proud to introduce our Barcelona International Business Hub. Chamber of Commerce has been dedicated to promote business worldwide, helping the companies in their growth and also providing services, high quality services to the companies that they are willing to expand business abroad. So today we are really proud to introduce a new concept that we call it Landing 360. And this Landing 360 is under our Barcelona International Business Hub that I'm very, very pleased to introduce you today. Please join me. Please come with me. I will be really pleased to introduce you our Barcelona International Business Hub. So as you see, this is a fantastic space, brand new, and plenty of facilities for the people that will join us. We have a reception, we have a different space of co-working. So here the point is that the people will come and will work in an open area, in a great atmosphere, able to share the experience. And always, as I said before, with a service from the Chamber of Commerce that will provide in any time a process of mentoring, support in every single stage of the companies. So here you see one of the rooms. So you see that this is a place that customers can use anytime. And the point is that we have different spaces to support all the working activities. So meeting rooms, also phone box, or even some individual rooms to organize different video calls, whatever national or international. So basically, what is the Landing 360? So let me just give you a small summary. So what is the Landing 360? So this is a platform of strategic support services to companies willing to develop their business projects in the European Union. What is our objective? To become a key partner for companies in their commercial landing and developments, as well investments in Europe. For who? For multinationals to medium enterprises with high value added sectors. So what we are offering today, and why to expand your business in Barcelona? So we are pleased to meet you and join you here in Barcelona to give you the best support from an institution with more than 130 years of history. Welcome to Barcelona.
So thank you very much. So this is a little bit the answer from the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce to increase the possibility to attract foreign investments from all over the world, especially from America, Asia, and not only to ask or to offer a solution to invest in Barcelona, to invest the rest of the European Union, to invest in the Mediterranean countries. So this is our contribution. And in order to achieve these objectives, I'm convinced that the Chamber of Commerce, in collaboration with the supranational organization, will become the key instruments for the successful coordination of trade activities all of the chambers in this area as a key agent for the economic and commercial development of the Mediterranean countries. I would like to thank you all for your participation and wish you can make the most of this event. Thank you very much and welcome to Barcelona. Welcome to contact me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marin, for this presentation and what are the opportunities that Barcelona and so the Catalonian area will offer for foreign investments and startups from all over the world. And now I will welcome Mrs. Ines Obradovic. She is the Director of the International Affairs Sector of the Croatian Chamber of Economy. Good afternoon, Ines.
Good afternoon to everybody. I would like to greet you all on behalf of the Croatian Chamber of Economy. I'm very pleased to be today with you on this conference to share the experiences on how we provide help to foreign investors, our domestic companies interested to do business abroad, etc. Well, as a small country with slightly more than 4 million inhabitants, and at the same time with a very favorable geographical position, Croatia, as a Pannonian, Danubian, and mostly Mediterranean country, has always been a part of the world trade flows. Today, the products of Croatian companies are well known in all parts of the world and present on all continents. Croatian companies make the most of their trade relations with the European countries, of course, mostly with the EU countries and neighboring countries, around 85%. And it is necessary to diversify and strengthen cooperation also with other markets. The Mediterranean countries, due to their geographical proximity, similar mentality, and the experience that our companies have there, are the place where it is necessary to connect entrepreneurs more strongly. Networking and active role in associations like ASCAME is of great importance to us. Connecting countries from both shores of the Mediterranean, getting to know each other and exchanging experience should contribute to stronger networking among entrepreneurs and active cooperation on projects of common interest. Today, in the times of great world crisis and pandemic, this is even more important, especially in reducing the negative consequences of the pandemic in the shortest possible time. Before the COVID-19 crisis, Croatian economy had a stable and positive trend of GDP growth. But last year, during the COVID-19 crisis, our GDP shrank by 8.4%. Estimations for our economy growth in 2021 are around 5%. According to the European Commission, it's 5.3%. The biggest negative impact of the COVID crisis was recorded in transport and tourism sector, but at the same time, some activities in the field of construction and ICT recorded growth rates. Measures and subsidies by the state, mostly focused on preserving jobs and liquidity, have helped to overcome, to some extent, the initial stagnation of the economy. Tourism is really important sector of the economy in Croatia, as well as in other Mediterranean countries. In Croatia, it generates almost a fifth of GDP and attracts a large number of domestic and foreign guests. The tourism ecosystem all over the world has been hit hard by restrictions on movement and travel imposed in the wake of coronavirus crisis. Despite the crisis and the pandemic, Croatia managed last year to achieve half of the tourist traffic compared to the record 2019. Because of its high share in the total economy, tourism had substantial impact on the high rate of GDP decline last year. But Croatia is actively working to create all the preconditions for achieving the best possible results this year as well, while respecting all epidemiological measures that will enable the arrival of guests from abroad. So you are all warmly invited to visit Croatia this year and be our guests. As for the investments, in the period between 1993 and 2020, the total FDI in Croatia amounted to 33 billion euros, with companies from Austria, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, Italy, and Hungary as the leading investors. The investments in that period have been made mostly in financial industry, wholesale, real estate, telecommunication, and retail trade. In 2020, despite the COVID-19 crisis and expectations, Croatia recorded slight growth in FDIs by 5.5% compared to the year 2019. One of the most significant growth in 2020 has been recorded in IT sector. And FDI in this sector went up by almost 600%. Significant investment in IT that were made last year are mostly done as inflow of new direct equity investment to Croatian IT companies such as Microblink, Nanobit, Infobip, and some others. Creating even more favorable investment conditions are among our biggest priorities, and the Republic of Croatia guarantees by law the same rights to foreign investors as domestic ones. We have one of the lowest corporate income tax rate in the EU, so it's 10% and 18%. And additional benefits to investments gives the Act on Investment Promotion. And according to this act, the regular corporate income tax rate can be reduced up to 0% on the period of 10 years. In addition to tax incentives, the benefits for investors include incentives for employment, for example, up to 9,000 euros per newly created job, or for education, and additional incentives for capital expenses and labor-intensive investment projects, as well as incentives for the modernization of business processes like digitalization, robotization, and some others. Besides incentives on the national level, certain incentives are offered also on a local level as well. There are more than 100 ready business zones on territory of the Republic of Croatia. And in addition to strong support from local communities, there is a possibility of additional tax reliefs for zone users, such as relief from utility tax, lower payments for municipal services, lower land prices, etc. According to our experience in the past few months, despite the crisis, the interest of foreign investors has continued, so we are quite satisfied according to the situation. The interest of Croatia in the following period regarding investments is focusing on attracting a substantial share of investors in high value added manufacturing and export activities, as well as research and development activities. The most important Croatian economy branches and the ones we think offer the best potential for further cooperation are investments in industry, ICT, agriculture and food production, energy sector, and infrastructure.
Sorry, yes, we have 1 minute left. So
okay.
If you can go through the conclusion, thank you.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you. So the Croatian Chamber of Economy is actively working on trade diversification and opening new markets for Croatian companies. Internationalization is one of the key areas we are focusing on, and it means finding new markets for our companies and providing them support, but also promoting Croatia as an attractive destination to invest and to do business with. So for that reason, I invite you all to visit our website, investincroatia.hr. And our goal is to promote Croatian investment potentials and companies that can provide support during the investment cycle as contractors, suppliers, etc. And by promoting specific investment projects in our country as well. And the Croatian Chamber of Economy stays at your disposal for any inquiries you may have regarding doing business in Croatia and with Croatian companies. So feel free to pose some questions either here or afterwards directly at the chamber. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ines, for this detailed overview of the Croatian situation and what are the opportunities. And now I welcome on the stage Mr. Dimitris Lemonakis, who is member of the Administration Council of the Piraeus Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Good afternoon, Dimitris. You can activate your microphone so that we can hear you. And I will remind to all the speakers that you have around 10 minutes so that we will not have delays, because after there is the B2B section. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarina. Dear President El-Walik, dear members of the ASCAME community, distinguished speakers and participants, I think we are rightfully debating and exploring the dynamic of a post-pandemic world, and we obviously need to reset and transition our economies, our societies, our polity, and literally our way of life in times of acute crisis. Greece should be no exception to this open discussion as we set sail for the new normal. The recent milestones relevant to COVID-19, particularly vaccination statistics, allow for some optimism as we plan to disengage from a lengthy lockdown period active in Greece from mid-November 2020 to date. Meanwhile, mid-May has been signaled as the start date for the tourism sector in Greece. Looking at the economic forecast for Greece, the indicators for 2020 have shown a decrease in GDP of 10% on a year-to-year basis, but there is an expected projection for growth of 3.5% for 2021, to be followed by an increase of 5% for 2022, according to European Commission forecasting. Focal points for the macroeconomic outlook. The recessionary impact of the pandemic, despite efforts to adjust and target restrictions to changing developments, is partially offset by very strong fiscal support. The fiscal impulse in 2020 was approximately at 10 billion euros, equivalent to 6% of GDP. And it has supported limiting the decline in the financial year of 2020 and promoting resilience, of course, in the labor market, with the unemployment rate declining to 16.5% by the end of November 2020. Looking at data at the final quarter of 2020 and the first months of 2021, the second round of restrictions has had a milder negative impact on economic activity compared with the second quarter of 2020, when the first lockdown was implemented. This has in part been assisted by increased familiarity with e-commerce, as well as the resilience of public and private consumption, fixed investment, and strong goods exports. Now, for the rest of the year, average GDP growth is expected to grow, as explained, despite the unfavorable starting point, supported by steady progress in vaccinations and a rebound in tourism activity, as is expected in most of our neighboring countries in the Mediterranean. Looking at the drivers of the post-COVID-19 recovery and what we could name catalysts and challenges for 2021, it is important to highlight the additional stimulus that translates into a net fiscal impulse of 1.4 in GDP. Latent household and corporate demand, of course, will gradually support the recovery through an unwinding of the increase in savings and the spending of the credit expansion in 2020. As explained, tourism will provide a push for economic recovery, with Greece's major tourism markets leading the race to vaccinate their populations as well. And of course, it is equally important for Greece's vaccination program to gather pace. Now, amid the global collapse, the Greek business sector suffered a heavy drop in turnover and led losses net losses in 2020. Against this background, 2021 is expected to be a year of gradual recovery to a new normality, with Greek business sector sales expected to increase by 8%, albeit remaining 6% lower than the level they were 2 years ago, before the pandemic. And of course, liquidity squeezed firms will comprise approximately 33% of the total turnover, compared with what was 88% in 2020. So the new normality is kind of kicking back. Continued government support, banks' post-moratoria solutions on amortization payments will also reduce the liquidity pressure by approximately 6 billion. The use of existing credit lines with banks, new lending will cover the remaining gap of bankable enterprises at the range of approximately 2.2 billion euros for the economy. And of course, the hard-hit tourism sector is estimated to have the highest post-measures working capital needs. These will exceed 1.3 billion euros. Looking at foreign direct investment, according to the most recent data from the Bank of Greece, net inflows of FDI in Greece for 2020 amounted to over 3.1 billion euros, compared to 4.4 billion in 2019. This is a decrease of approximately 30%, and it is below the level of decrease at UNCTAD estimates, which was over 42%. Now, the investment activity originates mainly from companies of major markets and actually from EU states. Cyprus, Germany, France constitute the main countries of origin of investment funds between 2010 and 2020, followed by Switzerland and non-EU countries such as Canada, China with Hong Kong, and the United States of America. Also, it is important to note that Greece has an array of assets available through the Hellenic Republic Asset Development Fund, which are available in medium-term programs. And they can be summarized in 3 categories. They involve land development, infrastructure, and corporate development. Now, this asset development plan, which was lastly revised and updated in September 2020, includes the most important public corporations, large-scale public property lots, and key infrastructure operators in its realm. A list is available for your disclosure. Now, how about attracting foreign investment and foreign individuals to Greece? There are 3 alternative taxation regimes introduced last year by the Greek government, aiming exclusively at attracting foreign tax resident individuals into Greece. These categories involve high net worth individuals, investors, pensioners, and active professionals. I will not go into further detail to save time. It is important to note, as we're working our way with the Greece 2.0 initiative, that flagship investments in the course of the next 7 years will involve green energy, digitization, a huge array of projects propelling investments, and a wide program for flagship reforms, because administrative and management reforms will need to be continued. To reach an end in the presentation, key points ahead of Next Generation EU and the Greece 2.0 revised action plan aim for creating approximately 180,000 new jobs, a real increase in GDP of 7% 26, permanent gains in GDP and employment due to the reforms and productivity growth. And this increase will come mainly through an increase in the private sector investments financed from the portfolio of loans. The increased ones will also have a significant contribution of public investment financed by a dossier of grants also made available. The reforms of Greece 2.0 plan will also contribute to GDP growth in various channels, such as increasing exports. In this context, this recovery plan aims to mobilize significant forces from the private sector by supporting private investment and using public-private partnerships and energy service companies to steer public investments so that significant additional private funds mobilize. For the implementation of the plan, Greece requests all the resources it can receive within the framework of the Recovery Fund, that is almost 18 billion euros in subsidies and almost 13 billion euros in loans. At the end of the day, Greece seeks to mobilize a total investment resource of approximately 7 billion euros. Of course, our discussion about the Southern Europe and the Mediterranean shores always involves geostrategic and geoeconomic factors. They remain significant denominators for large-scale investment initiatives propelled into the region. Greece is becoming an acute player in this respect and gradually transforming from a country that suffered acute social and economic crisis throughout the previous decade. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Dimitris, for your overview and your explanation about what is the situation in your country. And now I welcome on the stage Mr. Frederick Ronald. He is the Deputy President in charge of International Activities and Cooperation from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Marseille province. Hello, good afternoon, Frederick. If you can activate your microphone and your webcam.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I will speak in French. It's easier for me to speak in French than in English. And there is a translation, no? Is it? So it's easier.
Yes, you can speak in French.
Yes,
yes.
I will speak in French because I am lazy, you know, and it's the end of the day, so I am very lazy. Donc, merci, bonjour à tous. Je vais être très bref parce que je ne vais pas vous expliquer en quoi venir à Marseille est mieux que de venir dans chacune de vos villes. Je crois que nous sommes tous des villes et des régions méditerranéennes, et la Méditerranée fait intimement partie de notre stratégie. Pour Marseille, le Covid n'a pas modifié cette stratégie. Elle ne l'a pas influencée, elle a simplement retardé et compliqué l'activité de nos entreprises, puisque nous avons eu, comme partout dans le monde, je crois, une année 2020 et 2021 particulièrement difficile. Mais cette stratégie n'a pas été impactée, et elle est même sortie renforcée, puisque ce que nous avons constaté pendant cette crise Covid, c'est que les entreprises qui étaient présentes à l'international, les entreprises qui exportaient, étaient des entreprises qui résistaient mieux que les autres à la crise Covid. D'où l'importance de ne pas être présent sur un seul marché et sur une seule zone géographique. Alors, sur la Méditerranée est pour nous un tremplin. Pour nous, c'est une passerelle qui va nous permettre de rejoindre notre zone géographique cible, notre target, qui est le continent, qui est l'Afrique. Alors, bien sûr, une partie de la Méditerranée est en Afrique. Je pense à nos amis du Maghreb, Tunisie, Maroc, Algérie, Libye et jusqu'en Égypte. Mais notre focus, c'est de se concentrer sur cette Afrique qui démarre en dessous de nos amis du Maghreb. Et l'idée que nous avons, et l'idée que nous développons, c'est de pouvoir nous appuyer sur un certain nombre de partenaires méditerranéens, de faire jouer le réseau méditerranéen pour pouvoir aller ensemble sur ce continent africain dont on pense qu'il est le grand continent de demain et celui qui va tirer la croissance économique mondiale. Dans cet esprit, j'ai eu le grand plaisir de signer un partenariat avec la Chambre de commerce de Barcelone, un partenariat par lequel nous nous appuyons sur Barcelone pour profiter de l'expertise et du rayonnement de Barcelone sur la Méditerranée, Et Barcelone s'appuie sur Marseille et ses entreprises pour profiter de notre expertise et de nos réseaux en Afrique. On est dans cette logique de partenariat et d'aller chercher autour de la Méditerranée des appuis, des partenaires. On a une grande proximité avec la Tunisie et on travaille avec nos amis tunisiens sur ces sujets. La Tunisie peut nous aider à accéder à certains territoires. Nous allons aller en Égypte. Nous espérons aller en Égypte en 2021. C'est un déplacement qui a été beaucoup retardé à cause du Covid. Et dans la même façon, on va regarder comment on peut travailler avec nos amis égyptiens pour aller avec eux sur le sud de l'Égypte, peut-être aller sur cette Afrique de l'Est, cette Afrique anglophone qui nous intéresse beaucoup. L'idée que nous avons, c'est bien ça, c'est de dire nous devons faire jouer la solidarité méditerranéenne, aller chercher les expertises qui se trouvent dans nos partenaires européens, dans nos partenaires méditerranéens, pardon, pour aller être un peu plus présents et pour essayer de mieux travailler ensemble sur ce continent africain qui est aujourd'hui notre priorité. Donc voilà, c'est une façon d'approcher la Méditerranée peut-être un peu différente de celle qu'a eue la Chambre de commerce de Marseille, qui quelque part a essayé pendant longtemps, de travailler essentiellement ou exclusivement sur la Méditerranée. On s'est ouvert un peu, on est allé un petit peu plus loin. Aujourd'hui, on descend un petit peu plus bas vers le sud, sans oublier que nous avons des racines méditerranéennes et que nous pouvons trouver autour de la Méditerranée des partenaires beaucoup plus facilement, parce que c'est notre histoire, que des partenaires que nous pourrions trouver en Europe du Nord ou en Europe de l'Est. Pour l'anecdote, nous avons essayé d'embarquer nos amis allemands sur ce sujet africain et nous avons rencontré beaucoup de difficultés. Il a été beaucoup plus facile de parler avec nos amis de Barcelone ou de parler avec nos amis italiens ou égyptiens sur ce sujet que de parler avec nos partenaires allemands. Ça illustre bien le fait que cette Méditerranée est une plaque tournante, est un lieu de connexion qui doit pouvoir nous relier à ce continent africain dont on est convaincu qu'il sera le grand moteur de la croissance de l'économie mondiale. Voilà. Donc, c'est cette approche-là. Le Covid ne l'a pas modifiée. Le Covid nous a simplement retardé. On n'a pas pu faire tout ce qu'on voulait dans le déploiement de cette stratégie. Mais dès que nous allons pouvoir, et j'espère dès cet été et certainement à l'automne, eh bien, nous allons reprendre nos contacts, nous allons reprendre nos échanges. Je parlais de l'Égypte. Nous travaillons aujourd'hui avec nos amis tunisiens pour essayer de voir comment, avec les entrepreneurs tunisiens, on pourrait plus facilement accéder au marché libyen. On reste sur la Méditerranée et je suis persuadé qu'on va pouvoir, avec nos amis de Barcelone, mettre en place un programme de travail qui sera très, très, très fructueux encore une fois, dès que les salons auront repris et dès que l'activité aura repris. Je ne désespère pas non plus de pouvoir nouer des partenariats, ce type de partenariat avec l'Italie et nous avons toujours eu à l'Ascame une grande amitié pour nos amis siciliens et la Chambre de commerce de Cagliari. Et peut-être qu'avec nos amis siciliens et Cagliari, il y aurait aussi des possibilités de travailler sur ce sujet de la relation entre l'Europe, la Méditerranée et l'Afrique, qui est vraiment le sujet qui est le cœur de notre stratégie. Voilà ce que je voulais vous dire. Merci à tous de m'avoir invité.
Thank you, Frederick, for your presentation. And now we will go to end the session through Italy, and I will invite Mr. Emanuele Cabras from the Chamber of Commerce of Cagliari from Italy, and also President of OpenMed. Good afternoon, Emanuele.
Good afternoon, Federica. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm afraid I have to speak in English I'm lazy as Frederick, but I'm afraid there is not an Italian translation. So no, I'm happy to speak in English. Thank you on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce of Cagliari, to the President, Mr. El Wakil, and to all ASCAMI staff. And thank you so much for inviting us to present the Italian opportunities for investments and trades in the Mediterranean area. I will try to explain in few words this how is it possible to have business opportunities in Italy. I will share a short presentation in order to be easy to communicate with all of you. I think that now you see my presentation.
Yes.
Okay, I will, I think that, just a moment. Okay, this is better. Okay. So first, let me explain you some general reasons to invest in Italy. As you know, Italy is one of the three key economies of the Eurozone, with a GDP worth 1.72 billion euros. And it is about the 16% of the whole Eurozone market. Also, the domestic market offers many opportunities, with a population of more than 60 million and a GDP per capita of about 28,000 euros. Italy represents a strategic logistic hub in the Mediterranean area for its position. It is the link, it can be the link between the Europe, the whole Europe area, and the Northern Africa and Middle East. It is a very important key manufacturing player at international level, and specifically, it is the second largest manufacturing economy in Europe, and the fifth at global level. The Made in Italy competitiveness is another important element to mention. Investing in Italy means having access to unique expertise in leading sectors such as robotics, fashion, design, and food. In Italy, you will find a wide and extensive network of SMEs belonging to many manufacturing sectors. Also, I have to mention a skilled workforce that you can find here in Italy, with a good cost performance comparable to other European partners. In Italy, you also have a good network of academic institutions ready to cooperate with the private sector. And finally, let me also mention that in the foreign direct investment confidence index, Italy is ranked 10th in 2018. But apart this general reasons to invest in Italy, we have to consider that the impact of COVID crisis in Italy has been very, very serious. The 2020 GDP fell by 8.9%, which is one of the highest decrease all over Europe. But the COVID crisis is only a part of the weaknesses of Italian economy. In Italy, we have registered a GDP growth of about 8% in the last 10 years. So you can understand that in Italy, we have a serious problem of growth. We have also this problem of growth is also the cause of some social problems, such as the poverty that has increased during the last 15 years, and especially during the last year. And also, we have one of the highest rates of needs and one of the lowest women participation to workforce. All this framework, together with many other considerations, brought the Italian government with the European Commission to develop the recovery and resilience plan, national plan, in the framework of the Next Generation EU program in Italy. It will be the greatest amount of money after the Second World War that will be invested in the Italian economy. Consider that only the Next Generation EU program is worth 191 billion euros to be spent in the period from 2021 to 2027. Consider also that there are about other 15 billion euros that will be added to this program by other sources of financing. So this means that in the next 6 years in Italy, there will be investments, public investments, for about 250 billions. It is important to have a look of how, in which area these investments will be focused. The biggest slice will be concentrated on the green transition and ecological revolution, and which it is about 30% of the whole value of the program. The second area of investments will be the digitalization, innovation, competitiveness, and culture, which is worth about 44 billion euros. Other important area of investments are the infrastructure for sustainability mobility, especially on the Italian railway system and on the port systems. Then we will have very important investments also in the research and education area and the social inclusion and cohesion and health. This should be only the public side of investments, but this public investment should create an important leverage for private investments. From this point of view, it is there will be the chance, the opportunity for our partners, for companies coming from our partners in Europe and across the whole Mediterranean area to develop trades with other companies, to participate to public procedure in some area. It will be really a great chance for developing business not only of Italian companies but also of all our partners. If we want to have a focus to the key sectors of Italian company, the sectors that hopefully will be interested also by many of the investments mentioned before. I have to mention the aerospace sector, the agro-food, that, as you know, it is composed by a large number of small and medium enterprises. The automotive sector, all the clusters of the automotive sectors, chemical and pharmaceutical sector that, as you know, has increased their importance due to the COVID crisis. Consumer goods like fashion, for example, the green economy, as we have seen before, 40% of a recovery and resilience national plan will be focused on the green economy. And beyond, also the electronics and the ICT sectors are interested by the investments coming from the recovery and resilience national plan. Infrastructure. I mentioned before the infrastructure for mobility, so railways and the port systems. And we have to mention also the life science and the machinery sector, where Italy has a position of leader together with Germany at the global level. And finally, all these investments will have also an impact of the real estate sector. So it is also important to add that these investments will be accompanied also by important reforms, specifically concerning the simplification of administrative procedure that are so important for private investments. Okay, so that's what I can tell you about the possible investments in Italy for the next 5-6 years. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Emanuele, for this overview and presentation of the Italian situation and the opportunity of investments. I would like to thank to all the participants. We have ended the session, and now we have the question and answer before to go through the B2B session. And we have a question that is directly for Greece situation. So if Mr. Dimitris can answer to it. The question is what you can tell about the unemployment rate in Greece and how are the forecasts?
Do you mind repeating the question, Katerina?
Yes, sure, yes. They asked for what is the situation and what you can tell about the unemployment rate in Greece and what are the forecasts for this situation.
Okay, I do not have any new forecast for the moment, but I can repeat what I said earlier on regarding unemployment. There was a decline by November 2020 compared with data of 2019. But this does not imply that unemployment rates are low, not at all. It will be important to see the economy at the outset and to review whether if, especially the restart of the tourism sector will provide enough placements for employment because it is a critical sector for the economy. So there will be a new trend, but I'm not certain how unemployment levels will range for the moment. There are, of course, a number of policies available to tackle with unemployment issues, and Greek businesses have tried to make good use of these policies in the past year and until now. However, these are mostly provisional measures, and we are not sure if they will be continuing within the summer period or even until autumn. So I cannot be giving you specific advice as far as the requirements for the enterprises in terms of dealing with receiving assistance for employment of their employees who are now either being let off or they are receiving some subsistence.
Thank you, Dimitris, for the answer. And now I will do another question, generally speaking, to all the speakers, because it maybe can be interesting to have the overview from different countries. So companies will likely want to regionalize or relocate their production and their supply chains to have a more efficient and secure distance. So what do you think about reshoring and nearshoring can become an important practice in the future and after this pandemic situation? You can answer, Mr. Dimitris. You have the microphone activated if you want.
Sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry. There is a problem with the sound returning to my computer. Do you mind repeating that?
Yes, no problem. I was telling that companies will want to regionalize or relocate their production and supply chain to a more efficient and secure distance. So do you think reshoring and nearshoring can become an important practice in the future and after this pandemic situation?
Obviously, it's going to be a trend that we have to follow, and we do expect that it will remain important. Of course, I have to say that there are a number of measures that support the mobility and repositioning of enterprises. So, most of our countries that were presented in this panel, I assume each country has some type of relevant policy, and so do we in Greece.
Okay, thank you. If there are other speakers that maybe would like to speak about their country.
Yes, I'm totally agree with Mr. Dimitris, and yes, this is a trend, and already some companies has approached to Barcelona Chamber of Commerce indicating that they are willing to move the factory, especially from China. So a lot of companies with a large production and maybe with a low value added, so they have decided to move back all the manufacturing facilities nearby Europe, especially they are thinking about the north of Africa to relocate the new industries to take part of the still the advantages regarding labor costs on North Africa, and also thanks to the a lot of, well, the infrastructure today that we have by sea, by air, that we have plenty of facilities. So I think that this pandemic situation has been a proof that or is making a trend into the industry, especially in manufacturing facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Marin, for answering. And okay, I think that we had today, thanks to this webinar, a very detailed overview and what are all the efforts that from each countries they are putting to recover after this crisis that all of us are living because of this pandemic situation. We hope to recover soon all together. And I will thanks to all the participants. And now I will give the floor to the ASCAME organization because they will explain you how to pass through the B2B session. Thank you to all. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'll be your facilitator for this B2B session. I'm Diana. We are going to allow some minutes to the tools and the technical team to get everyone, and we will get started in a minute. So see you soon. Good afternoon, everyone. We are gonna start the B2B session. Now everything is it's ready. First of all, I would like to thank all the speakers and attendees for joining us today for this meta meeting. As I said before, I'm Diana. I'm part of ASCAME's team, and I will be your facilitator today at this B2B networking session. The aim of this session is to meet potential partners and interact with each other. We have some participants that are here now on the screen that registered beforehand for this B2B. But if you are on the audience and you would like to participate, just write your name on the chat and the team will give you the participant role. So really feel free, any of the people in the audience to jump in. We hope to have as much interaction as possible. So even if you want to join with your camera off, that's fine. And of course, we have the chat open in case you would like to exchange contact details, or if any of the participants is saying something that interests you and you want to put your contact details on the chat, that would be great. So first of all, I'm gonna give you a few guidelines about how we are gonna do this session. Let me see. So first round, we're gonna do an elevator pitch, kind of a round. Of course, you can adapt. This is just guidelines. We are gonna do a first round of elevator pitch. I will give you the floor, and then you introduce yourself, introduce your company, what do you do, what are you looking for, where are you based. And then if you want to give us more details about a specific topic, that would be great. And then we will have a second round with questions, any other kind of clarification that we want to carry out. So if everything is clear, let's get started. We are gonna start with Jordi Caballé. Please, Jordi, the floor is yours.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me thank Ascame team for giving me the opportunity to present myself and the company which I cooperate with this afternoon. Also, I had the chance to cooperate with Ascame in the past since I was the Secretary General of MedCruz for the last 3 years. So it's a pleasure to be back cooperating with Ascame. Always, you are doing always a great job. So, well, as I was saying, I was the Secretary General of MedCruz, which is the Association of the Mediterranean Cruise Ports for the last 3 years. But before joining MedCruz, I used to work as a port consultant, cruise industry, shipping lines and port consultant. So now, after my great experience in MedCruz Association, so I went back to the industry as a consultant, and I joined the company named Blue Focus, which is based in Barcelona. I'm based in Tenerife, as I said at the beginning, because the MedCruz Secretariat is based here in Tenerife. So I moved to Tenerife 4 years ago, and I'm still here, but our headquarters are in Barcelona. So Blue Focus is a company that cooperates worldwide with port investors, shipping lines, terminal operators, and so on, in order to analyze and to offer our expertise and knowledge in the cargo industry. But from now on, since I joined this company with as associate partner, also with the cruise industry. So we are cooperating. Already we have 2 projects about the cruise industry and tourism also related, no? Because the cruise industry is inside the tourism business. Also, we are focusing in the tourism general, not only in the cruise industry. So I'm happy to share with you that we are cooperating with a tour operator based in Albania. And as most of you will know, Albania is doing a lot of investments nowadays. Already, the European Seaports Organization accepted Albanian ports as observers. The European Union is also welcoming Albania as observers. They have a great relationship with the UN, and so it's a good opportunity now. It's a good time to invest in Albania. That's why I already visited Albania 1 month ago, and I will be there in June again, because I really believe that the Adriatic is one of the most places, one of the most beautiful places in the world to cruise, and also to visit as a regular tourist. So if there's any of you, I mean, company, Ascame as well, I can cooperate with you if you want me to introduce any Albanian public bodies, administrations. I have good contacts there. So feel free to ask me. And there's no part as a consultant, but as a friend, I will for sure cooperate with anyone that wants to make business there, because I really believe that it's the moment. No? There are also a lot of rumors that Spanish companies are investing there. You need to, it's not rumors, you need to rely on these rumors. So feel free to reach me at any time. And that was my brief introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jordi. Indeed, I was in Albania this summer, and I see the potential that Albania has, and also it's been a very close collaborator with Ascame too. With the Ministry of Entrepreneurship in the last MEDA week, and I totally share your point of view that Albania is very unknown, and we need to start building those kind of connections. Thank you very much, Jordi. If you want to leave your comments on your contact details, on the chat, so all the attendees can get in contact with you if they want. Also, I wanted to remind you that you can speak in French or in Spanish because we have a simultaneous translation. So feel free to choose any of those 3 languages. Thank you very much. Now we are gonna go with.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Jordi. We are gonna go with the. I don't know if we have Jinhua here with us. I think she's not here, so we are gonna have Jaume. Please, Jaume Gardens. Can you?
Hello.
Bona tarda.
Bona tarda. Hello, everybody. Okay, I will try to focus. I'm presenting today Born in Commerce. Born in Commerce is a company of Ideaborn Group that is made of Ideaborn Consultancy, Fundación Ideaborn, and Born in Commerce. And the connection of the 3 is the promotion of the rule of law, and Born in Commerce is very much focused on trying to help emerging markets to access European Union and United States markets on one side, and to help investments on extraction of natural resources, to also do well in stock markets on presenting collateral investments for social development on the communities where they invest. Therefore, of course, our thing is not to have the stock markets, but our thing is to promote collateral investment, to promote social and environmental protection in the areas where you extract natural resources. The first of the 2 blocks, meaning helping companies from emerging markets to access to European Union and United States, we do it in 3 pillars. The first pillar is legislation development. Therefore, we are helping, ready to help any Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Trade, to develop with the business community workshops on trying to figure out where are the stones in the process of export. Because from theory to practice, there is always a gap. And even if theoretically there are trade agreements in place, they are not 100% used by emerging economies to go to the European Union and United States, are very well used by the other way around, by consolidated economies to go to emerging markets, but not that easy for emerging markets to get into these 2 major markets. Therefore, the thing is to help them to work in a participative approach with the private sector and public sector in those countries, and mainly in those countries we are talking as well of the south of the Mediterranean, and we would love to do that together with our partners that we have been listening in the previous hour from the Southern Europe. Because that's a tremendous effort that can benefit from experts and expertise from other ministries of economy, other chambers of commerce, okay, to help them to understand the law and to help them to implement it properly, not only in benefit of the rich countries, but also on the poor countries getting into rich countries. And the second pillar of this first block is helping companies, small, medium, not necessarily large, because the large companies we take for granted that they know how to do it themselves, is to get accreditation of the required accreditations to exports. Many goods that enter the European Union and United States cannot enter so easily unless they have a label. How to get the label and how to improve the procedure of producing goods to get the label, meaning fulfilling labor laws, fulfilling labor standards, fulfilling environmental standards, so on and so forth, It's a process, and we help them to develop this process with experts. And yet again here, we would love to have other people joining us in this endeavor on helping medium, small, and eventually large companies that would like to get all the labels that they require to easy their exports to Europe and to the United States. Then the third pillar of this first block, it's focused on helping those that are already exporting to get the context required within the countries of the European Union and within the states of the United States to something that easy as to, for instance, to be paid and to receive the money that they have received of the goods, to pay the properly taxes and to do it easily and not to have troubles when fulfilling the due diligence in Europe and United States, in any country and any state of these two markets, and as well as the whole process of transport within these two markets. We have office in Europe, in Barcelona, and we have a delegate and the company registered in United States, Washington, and also in Bogota, in Colombia. And well, that's for the three blocks, pillars of the first block. And then the second block, that is to help extracting companies investing in emerging markets, is, well, getting into the new trends that even very large companies, they depend very much on investment funds.
Okay.
Making them clear that investment funds will require them to fulfill environmental issues and social issues, and helping them to do collateral investments to fulfill that. Okay. That's more or less what we offer.
Thank you, Jaume. Very, very interesting. As I mentioned to Jordi, if you could leave your contact details on the chat, so the attendees, the rest of the attendees, can contact you for any of these services, that will be great. Thank you for this great explanation. And I know we in Ascame, we work together with you, Jaume, and we hope to continue this collaboration. Now we are going to give the floor to Stefano Bonfa. If you could, we are going as well to try to stick with the 5 minutes each of us, so we don't, in case there are other people from the audience that want to jump. Thank you. Stefano, the floor is yours. You're on mute, so if you could unmute yourself. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Sí, te oigo.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, my name is Stefano Bonfa. I'm based here in UK at, say, London and Oxford. And we've been spending the last 15 years in UK. Before I was working with international organizations like United Nations, High Commission on Refugee, FAO, and let's say European Union. The last 15 years I was involved here with different universities from Imperial College, London School of Economics, and Oxford. So the last, let's say, 10 years, we did develop with Oxford University some kind of startup. We call group, say, interest economic group. And the idea to, say, be involved mainly in research project Horizonte 2020. Now, as everybody you know, with the Brexit, we are limited in participating in projects. So we are basically in Italy and probably also in Barcelona. And our aim is, let's say, how we can build what has been already, as I point out this evening from Mr. Hamed from Malta, and also from, we can say, Mr. Adrian Said from Malta, and from Mr. Marin Orialis, that has developed this type of, let's say, hub for Mediterranean countries. Now, one thing that I'm concerning, it looks like we are building in Mediterranean countries another European Union with each country thinks by themselves. What is missing is what each country provided to Mediterranean area to grow as whole, as Mediterranean. And that I think ASCAMIS play a very good role in this context. Now, we are interested in developing this digital innovation hub that we submitted 3 years ago in a conference at ASCAME in order to change the way of doing economy, the way of creating job, thinking more in a more digital transformation, because it's not just the creation of jobs, it's not just for the advanced countries. Actually, I think what we are thinking is mainly for developing countries, because they have now the possibility of change the way of let's say, create economy, social inclusion, etc., internationalization. So in this role, we support ASCAME, and what we want to do is developing this digital innovation hub. Now, where this will be, in any place, because a digital innovation hub is a network, informatic network based on the modern technology that everybody can use in each country. So what we did it with, at the moment, we did with, let's say, Portugal, Spain, Catalonia, and Murcia, Italy, and then with France, from the north part of Europe. For the southern part, we have Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, and Tunisia. What we want to create, to show to the different organizations how we can develop small, let's say, experimentation in each country that can change and then scale for all, let's say, region, for example. That's why our interest is to develop this, we can call it ecosystem, innovation ecosystem network on hub in each country where everybody can use it. Now, we start this process with ASCAME presentation of the platform. We are now following up with different opportunities locally, as well as with the, let's say, the opportunities provided by the European Union. I mean, this is critical. You see, I was assisting the big money that Italy has by the European Union, but I do not see how the digitalization support the economy. They should not be separated one from the other one. The idea is how we can integrate and create new way of modeling with experimentation. So in this context, we develop the concept of big data living lab. Now, this has been implemented in Andorra in cooperation with the MIT. And with their support, we are trying to translate this concept here to all Mediterranean countries. In conclusion, our intention is to create this network between different Mediterranean countries and collaborate and create this type of new movement that is more based on knowledge, with new digitalization and integration, creation job in a different way. Now, that's why I say I'm quite online with the talk about Malta, as well as with the Chamber of Commerce, that I think we are going to support them in to be one of the first startup in their Chamber of Commerce, because we're also supported by the movement from China. China, you mentioned about China. China is very advanced in this new technology. We did not realize it, that they are much, much better than Europe and near to the USA. So I can leave you my email. If someone wants to be in touch with us, I will be happy to collaborate. Thank you.
Stefano, so thank you very much. So just to be very clear, so what you are proposing, of course, we need in the Mediterranean a digital hub more nowadays, for sure. We need the resources to do so, mainly money, good coordination, and so on. But it is indeed very needed like these kind of things we are doing on Ascame that are virtual and try to connect ideas and people. So you have already implemented this, you were telling, with Malta and with Andorra, or this is in which stage are you at the moment?
Okay, we did already. I mean, the idea of living lab itself has been implemented in many parts of the world.
Okay.
Starting from Malta, for let's say MIT in USA, they did develop this living lab in, let's say, in Andorra.
Okay.
This is practical. So I know that Andorra is linked with Catalonia.
Mm-hmm.
We have two, let's say, two experimentation that in our case are in Girona, and it's linked with the National Cancer Research of Spain, the CSIC, and also with the, let's say, the University of Barcelona.
Okay.
Now, Europe is full of living lab, but they are not full of big data living lab. It's a big difference because we are, that was the innovation aspect that we want to introduce in the Mediterranean area.
Okay,
so we have already the platform, we have already the expertise, we do have already the, let's say, the network of people we want to collaborate in the Mediterranean area. So we are hoping to follow up this idea. In other words, I'm going to be in touch also with your organization, the Chamber of Commerce of Barcelona, as well as Malta, and I will submit our, let's say, platform. Then from there we can go ahead.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna give the floor, I don't know, one second. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Stefano, I have Dimitris that he needs to leave. I don't know, Dimitris, if you would like, Dimitris Lemonakis, sorry, he's texting me on the chat. I don't know if you would like to, present right now, if you have time.
Well, I will be leaving, so I have to be very, very brief. Apologies about that. Thank you for hosting this speed dating for B2B as well. It's, I think, very intriguing for all of us to find out what is happening across the Mediterranean. Kedros is active and engaged in consultancy assignments in Greece and abroad. So having listened to the previous speakers, and I assume many interesting speakers will follow, but unfortunately I will not be able to listen to them. We are keen to accept calls or emails to discuss consultancy projects that involve Greece. And another business unit of ours is devoted to the tourism sector. So if you have plans that involve tourism development operations in Greece or relevant to real estate projects with tourism, with the tourism industry, feel free to contact us. Again, I apologize for being so brief, but I will have to depart. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Ascame team for all the events held today.
Thank you, Dimitris. That was very straight to the point. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Now we are going to give the floor to Julia.
Here I am.
Okay. Hello.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Diana. So good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for having us. Today I will present my company. It's Sargoma. I'm Giulia Calvi, and I'm the product development manager. Can I share my screen in order to let you see our company presentation? Just one moment.
Can you try to do it now? I will ask you the only thing to just stick to 5 minutes if we can.
Yes.
Of course, yeah, we can see your presentation now, Julia.
Okay, just one moment because I can't see the presentation. Let me check. Okay. So here we are.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Just one moment, I have a problem with the camera. Okay. First, I will briefly tell you something about our core business and history. Sargoma manufactures rubber and plastic components for the automotive, earth-moving, and agricultural sector, among others. As you can see in the left area, we are an SME in Italy, in Torino, and we were born from an idea of our founder. Thanks to our strategy focused on both quality, partnership with multinational OEM car manufacturers, and customer care, today we enjoy good brand awareness in our sector, which allowed us to take a further step to a new upcoming manufacturing factory, where we will be expanding our product line and forming alliances to be even more competitive. Now I would like to move to our current product line, which is constantly evolving. We specialize in molded and co-molded parts, die cutting and water jet gaskets, hoses, as well as in extruded profiles. We work according to customer specification with any kind of plastic, rubber, and polyurethane material, thanks to good expertise in material engineering, as well as in product development techniques. Here you can see some significant figures on our business that we constantly monitor to successfully renew on a yearly basis our ISO certifications related to product and process quality, as well as in our upcoming sustainability certification. We already serve more than 150 customers worldwide, and we can work in English, Spanish, French, Turkish, and Italian language. As mentioned, Sargoma is undergoing an important transformation with the acquisition of a new 12K square meters manufacturing plant and offices, where we'll be creating a virtuous model with the layout built according to the best practices of the lean manufacturing, industry 4.0 and Kaizen models, to be able to further optimize our lead time, costs, R&D, and sustainability for our clients. Such decisions have been ultimately taken to lead our company towards the United Nations 17 goals. We have started addressing many of them, and we aim at covering 11 goals within 2023, in order to be a proactive partner for socially responsible vehicle manufacturers worldwide. Now you can see our contacts, but you can also easily reach us through our LinkedIn, our website, and our email address that I'm going to write on also on the chat. And it's info@sargoma.it. And now we look forward to collaborating with you, and we thank you for your attention.
Thank you. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. So are you looking for partners, customers in a specific country or region, or what are you?
It was very interesting, the Croatian area because we are looking for new partners, customers, both customers and suppliers, and it was very interesting, the idea to cover also the Croatian area.
Okay, so focusing on Croatia, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Julia. Now we are going to give the floor to Bader. The floor is yours.
Hola, hi everybody. Well, first of all, I would like to thank Cámara de Comercio de Barcelona and Ascame for this event and this opportunity to share what we do in our company and how is the situation nowadays during the COVID and everything that's happening. So First of all, my name is Bader. I'm 25 years old, and I represent a marketing agency here based in Madrid. And we are one of many agencies that do the marketing business, but we mostly are different because we are specialized in the LinkedIn area. So we are creators of this new trend of influencers that are the corporate influencers. And we usually work with a lot of companies in order to create strategies and try to implement and create new influencers within your own company. So for just to put an example out there, we will basically turn your managers into your influencers. And this would become a self-nurturing way of marketing your own agency. I think this event is mainly like somehow like a speed dating for the B2B businesses. And I believe that we are a group of millennials. We are young and we have access to a lot of diversity here in Spain. And I believe also in all south of Europe has been mixed during these last years. And we can find a lot of diversity when it comes to cultures and languages and different people. And there is a saying that I like, which is diversity equals opportunity. So I think that this kind of event should be we should do more of these, because there is a lot of people out there that are not able to see what's really happening outside. And I think that we as young people, and especially people that specialize in the social media business, we know, because we have access to a lot of information, a lot of content, and we get to meet a lot of people. So we really know what's inside the economy and what's really moving it. And that's how we manage to implement certain strategies that would allow us to really touch your audience. So if any company would like to have some help, even just a consultancy, that would be for free, just to get to know each other and get to see if we can help you out. Because apart from being a marketing agency that treats all the social media and everything, we are very, very creative. And we tend to create new ways of implementing products that the market have never seen before. And I'm daring to say that, because we have this big energy that comes within a lot of ambition, and especially with our co-founders that have been behind our company for almost 5 years, and they took a tremendous turn during the COVID-19, and it made them realize that we can be so much more than just a normal agency. And so I encourage you all to get in touch with us, and maybe we can get to know each other. Keep in mind that we have a lot of contacts and a lot of partners inside and outside Europe. So we're talking the north of Africa, we're talking of Portugal, we're talking even the United States. So if someone have a business opportunity that would like to share with us, and obviously everything will be confidential, we would love to give you our insight, and we would love to collaborate with you, because I think the beauty of this business in general is just to get in touch with people and get to learn how we can help each other without even caring about all the negative things that are happening today. So that'll be it for me. Thank you very much for this opportunity again. And I'll leave my email in the comments if anyone would like to get in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bader, for this shot of energy. And yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I think it's very important to be doing all these things, organizing and take the lead to put together different stakeholders, different ages, different genders, different countries, and see how can we work together and make the most of it. So thank you very much. Thank you. Please leave your contacts on the comments. And now we are going to give the floor to Sinem. Thank you for your patience, and we will love to hear from you.
Thanks a lot. My name is Sinem Meçik. I am a managing partner in Mascot Shipping and Mascot Tourism. Both are in Turkey. And what we deal at the moment is tourism in Turkey, which has many problems at the moment because of the pandemic that we have. And other than that, we have two main businesses. One of them is logistics and supply chain management, which we have been dealing for small packages and then to big projects from and to Turkey from all over the world. And also we deal with port agency services for cargo ships, tankers, and mega yachts. And we are actually in shipping business. I'm going to write my contacts in the chat zone. Unfortunately, I have to leave as it is very late in Turkey. I will not be able to listen to other participants. But please feel free to send me an email, and I hope that Diana, you can just send all of the emails and names to us if possible, so that I will be able to reach all the attendees that I will not be able to listen right now, if it's not a very hard work for you. And what we are trying to do here is we are trying to find customers that would like to trade in Turkey, that would like to do logistics business in Turkey, and at the moment we have big partners for that supply chain management, and hopefully we will be bigger as the time passes. And very nice meeting you all, and very nice to be here to hear all your presentations and meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. That was very brief, but now we know that you are our partner in Turkey. If anyone in the attendees want to do business related to logistics or have a partner in Turkey, they will contact you. We will share the contact details. We are only allowed to share the contact details between the panelists, but I will put your email on the chat for the rest of the attendees. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Diana.
Yeah, sure. So I think now we get to the end of this B2B networking session. Please, if any of the attendees would like to present or have any question or anything, I know that it's very, thank you very much. Thank you very much for putting your email here in the chat. Sinem, I know it might be late in some of your countries. Some of you might be doing iftar as well. So if you please have any questions, we are here. And then if not, we will be closing this session. We will encourage you, as you know, we are gonna be doing meta meetings. We are doing meta meetings every month. Next meta meeting will be on how to do business in Brazil. So you are very welcome to join us and participate in these meta meetings. We hope you like it. Thank you very much, and the whole Ascame teams wish you a very nice evening. Thank you for standing with us. Thank you.